properties and displaced over 1 million residents, which drew widespread sympathy and support from the federal government, neighboring states, non-governmental organizations, and compassionate Nigerians who made substantial donations to alleviate the sufferings of the affected victims and support the state's recovery efforts. In response, the Borno State government allocated a substantial sum of 20 billion naira to a dedicated basket fund, marking 50% of it for rebuilding infrastructure damaged by the flood, with the State Ministry of Works and Housing tasked with spearheading the rehabilitation efforts and has so far made significant progress on restoring bridges, major highways, and roads impacted by the disaster. On today's program, we will evaluate the progress made so far in these rehabilitation efforts, discuss the successes recorded, and examine the challenges faced. I am Abubakar Musa, your guide today. Thank you for joining us. Let's move on. The Ministry of Defense is to set up a committee to review the national defense policy to enhance the armed forces' operational effectiveness and professionalism while defending the nation's territorial integrity. Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Defense, Gabriel Aduda, gave the hint at a familiarization tour to the headquarters, Nigerian Air Force. Defense correspondent Olajide Bello reports that he was received by the Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Hassan Abubakar.
The National Defense Policy of Nigeria has long served as the cornerstone of the country's security and military strategy. As new technological advancements emerge, it becomes essential for the military to adopt a revised policy that would facilitate the integration of cutting-edge technologies into the armed forces operations. This would not only enhance the military's capability in modern warfare, but also improve the effectiveness of peacekeeping missions, border patrols, and counter-terrorism efforts, ensuring that Nigeria remains resilient in the face of both conventional and non-conventional threats.
Because ideally we should have a review every 5 years. I think the last one was in 2017 or so. A committee has already been set up. We will try very hard to get this committee running and try to work with timelines to see how much we can achieve very quickly.
The MOD has empowered us to enhance our operational readiness, modernize our platforms, and strengthen our personnel capabilities. These efforts have not only elevated the NAV's operational effectiveness, but have also reinforced our ability to respond swiftly and decisively to emerging security challenges across the country.
A stronger policy review would provide an opportunity to redefine recruitment strategies, training programs, and leadership development by instilling a culture of professionalism, accountability, and ethical conduct within the Nigerian Armed Forces. Olajide Bello, NTA News.
Approach is one sure way through which challenges facing youths can be addressed in Nigeria and beyond. And this is what the federal government's programs and initiatives are prioritizing. Minister of Youth Development, Ayodele Olawande, reiterated this when he received a team from the Nigeria Youth Futures Fund, NYFF, in his office in Abuja. Olayinka Oju will now tell us more.
The productive power of every nation lies in the strength of its youths, who are considered a vital component in nation building. The potential to drive positive changes that translates into national development lies in this dynamic demography. Hence, the reason for the visit by the Nigerian Youth Future Fund, NYFF, led by Dr. Onyeche Douglas, who sees the engagement of Nigerian youths in current governance processes and leadership positions as a panacea for achieving the Nigeria every youth wants.
Our focus this year being on addressing fundamental national questions, promoting inclusion, amongst other things, and certainly helping with the implementation of things like LGA autonomy, support where possible with the youth policy. We also support individuals, organizations that are focused, that are youth-led, and that are focused on youth civic engagement with grants. We've actually started the cycle for 2025.
For the Youth Minister, Ayodele Olawande, a sustainable framework is already in place to not only address the immediate concerns, but also ensure young people harness their potential through empowerment and skills acquisition.
Somebody was still talking about the budget allocation to the ministry, and I said we must grow beyond budget this time around. And that is why the fund at the back of this organization is very important. I want you to join us as a ministry to look at the productive visions that we have to support the young people.
It was, however, agreed during the visit that international organizations and donor agencies need to support efforts that create a better future for Nigerian youths. Olainka Ojo, NTA News.
Government is seeking greater collaboration with the Ministry of Livestock Development to tame cattle rustling and other security challenges in the state. Governor Dauda Lawal says this during a high-level meeting with the Minister of Livestock Development, Idi Mukhtar Maiha. Yusuf Jika completes the story.
It's another critical moment for the Ministry of Livestock Development to engage key stakeholders in driving home its mandate of enhancing the net worth of 33 trillion naira resources domiciled in the industry. And the Zamfara State government is one of the early callers to the new pact, which aimed to promote security, create jobs, and utilize the huge potential lying fallow in the state and its surroundings.
It's a state that is trying to come up with a lot of initiatives and keep the young, talent people off the street. And if we're able to do that, that will go a long way in solving multiple problems. So we want to be partners in this regard.
The Ministry of Livestock Development can only work and succeed in its mandate if we collaborate organically with the rest of the state governments. They have the land, they have the grazing reserves. Also, the animal resources are also resident, domiciled in those states. But I do believe that this is just a very, very good development for us to come going forward.
As a first step measure, the government reveals plans to adopt a civic approach in dealing with challenges militating against the growth and development of the sector. In Abuja, Yusuf Jika, NTA News.
Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, has distributed relief materials to thousands of flood victims in Bauchi State through the Federal Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the Red Cross Society in Nigeria. The distribution exercise was conducted under the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation. Muazu Hassan now reports.
This exercise is not just a distribution of relief materials, but also a demonstration of the ECOWAS commitment to supporting the flood victims in its member states.
This support is a demonstration of ECOWAS commitment, not only in Nigeria but in the region, to continue to support our member states to respond to humanitarian crises.
They gave us $200,000 when it happened for the victims in Bauchi, and they gave another $200,000 for victims of Borno State. So we're really grateful.
The ECOWAS Commission has been supporting Nigeria in addressing post-flood situation.
The beneficiaries of the gesture are victims of the 2024 floods in 16 local government areas of Bauchi State, where 100 hectares of farmlands were destroyed, while thousands of people left their shelter and livestock.
Say thank for ECOWAS, and then I am Aliu Abdullahi will say thank for all these people. They come here and then they assist us here.
Assessment by the State Emergency Management Agency and other supervisory authorities indicated that the floods had caused large-scale displacement of more than 30,400 households.
Besides the food and non-food items distributed, the ECOWAS provided a cash support of 75,000 naira to each of the beneficiaries. In Bauchi, Muaz Hassan, NTA News.
On to Panorama on the Nigerian Television Authority. We have another set of stories for you as soon as we return.
From the Atlantic across the savannah to the Sahara, we rise, a land of the free, we know they tire. We dream great, our spirit is undying.
Resilient, rooted like palm tree, we sway in colors, with undying demand. We make solutions, we ignite passion, yeah. Ethnicity is unique, we have more than destination. We are Nigeria, we are Nigeria, strengthened in unity. We know they carry lives. We are Nigeria, together live the dream of a land with great destiny. We are Nigeria.
I am the real Nigerian. Brought to you by the National Orientation Agency, NOA.
To have you back, let's move on now. In a determined effort to ensure the timely completion and quality delivery of road and drainage reconstruction projects in flood-affected areas of Maiduguri and its environs, the Borno State government has conducted a high-level inspection of various project sites. Murjanatu Hassan was there for us.
The inspection team, led by the Commissioner for Works and Housing, included the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry, Technical Advisor to Governor Zulum on Works, Kori Shetima, and other senior officials. The team assessed progress on critical projects such as Muhammad Indimi Road, Old Mule Road, and Simali Road, where they commended contractors for maintaining high-quality standards and urged them to sustain efforts. The Commissioner of Works, Mustapha Gubio, emphasized the importance of completing the project within the stipulated time frame to ensure that the needs of the affected communities. At the West End flyover construction site, the inspection team expressed satisfaction with the pace and quality of the work, just as the contractors assured the delegation of their readiness to complete the project ahead of schedule, boosting confidence in the state government's development agenda.
One of the best things he does is funding these projects. He gives 50% upfront, and then he pays, when they are ready with their certificates, we see that all is well, he pays again. Funding of projects is very important, and our governor is doing it. So we say thank you to him.
The commissioner affirmed the Borno State government's commitment to improving infrastructure in Maiduguri and its environs, highlighting the positive impact these projects will have on residents' daily lives and advancing the state's overall development. In Maiduguri, Murjanatu Hassan, NTA News.
Now, going by that background report, today, a first-time visitor to Maiduguri will struggle to identify the previously flooded areas in Maiduguri and environs due to the extensive rehabilitation and reconstruction efforts carried out under the supervision of the Ministry of Works and Housing. To shed more light on these issues, we are privileged to have in our studio the Commissioner for Works and Housing, Mustapha Gubio, with years of professional experience. The Commissioner is here to provide insights into the efforts made and the way forward. Commissioner for Works and Housing, it's good to have you on Panorama today.
Thank you for having me.
And Happy New Year to you.
Same to you.
All right, let's begin this way. Sir, how would you assess the progress made so far in the rehabilitation efforts?
Thank you so much. Since the devastating flood that happens last September 2024 here in Maiduguri, state government has declared a state of emergency in the area of road construction and the repair of drainages and bridges that have been affected by the floods. So far, so good. We have gone far. We have making a lot of progress. We have so far repaired some of the bridges that have been put into use. Some of the bridges are not repaired because we want to do combine them to bridges because they are multi-cell culverts. When we have also resurfacing some of the roads across the state to see that we give new facelift to all the roads within this MMC and Jere. We are also making progress in the area of constructing new roads. That is how we are going. Inshallah, before the end of this year, we'll finish all the road construction within MMC and Jere.
Oh, we hope so. Now, does the rehabilitation work involves private sector participation, or is it solely handled through direct labor by your ministry?
Because the projects are many, and that is why the state government alone cannot handle the work. We contracted out some of the road to companies. His Excellency give them all the payments as when due. We employ the services of multilateral companies, which is the EES Nigeria Limited. We have the Ministry of Environment, we have the Ministry of Works, we have BOMA, and indigenous companies who are working across the board to see that we finish the work within the shortest possible time. The money that is given to us through the flood reconstruction is not enough. State government now gave another fund so that the work will go and be completed within the stipulated period.
All right. Now, sir, some of the bridges were severely affected by the flood, obviously. Has the ministry conducted integrity tests to ascertain their safety and viability?
The Ministry of Work, together with the Nigerian Society of Engineers, conducted a lot of tests. They have submitted the report to the Ministry of Works. We have provided to the state government for almost consideration. Inshallah, in a no distant time, we will start constructing new bridges in Pori and Moromoro. Those bridges cannot withstand the loads because of the damages inflicted on them by the floods.
Interesting. Now, observers have suggested that some of the repair work on busy roads should be, carried out at night to reduce traffic disruptions. What is your response to this recommendation?
Yes, just yesterday night we started constructing resurfacing the Domboa Road in the night because of the fact that there is a mass flow of traffic in the daytime. So we now decided to work in the night. So I will also apply the same to other roads, inshallah.
All right, Commissioner for Works, what are some of the key challenges hindering the rehabilitation work, and what steps can be taken to move forward?
The challenges are because of the cost of construction material, the bitumen, the asphalt, the diesel, labor, machinery, maintenance of machine, everything is expensive. Just last month, His Excellency procured diesel worth billions of naira from Tata Bay Nigeria Limited, which is about 3,700,000 liters of diesel, which is stockpiled in Boma. Now we are using it to construct the roads within the MMC and Jere and all other roads across the state. We have also procured 3,760 metric tons of bitumen, which we are using to do our work. So it's very expensive, it's not easy, but governor is determined to see that we do all the work within the possible time.
Okay, what message do you have for residents towards exercising patience?
My message to the residents is to exercise patience because road construction is something that involves disturbance. So I want them to be patient enough to cooperate with the workers. Then drainage construction also is the same thing so that we can achieve our goal within the time given to us, inshallah.
Our best wishes to you, Commissioner for Works and Housing, Borno State, Mustafa Gubio, for being part of Panorama today.
Thank you so much.
All right, have a nice day.
Thank you.
Let's move on. Kashim Ibrahim University Teaching Hospital, which is at advanced stage of completion, will commence operations by May 2025. Governor Zulum stated this during the inauguration of 3 healthcare boards in the state, held at the Government House, Maiduguri. Harris Mohammed Guni with the rest of the story.
The inaugurated boards includes the Borno State Hospital Management Board, with Dr. Joseph Jatu as the chairman, Borno State Primary Healthcare Development Agency, with Yagana Alkali as the chairperson, and Kashim Ibrahim University Teaching Hospital, having Professor Ahmed Ahijo as its chairman. Governor Zulum put stress the state government's effort to reposition the health sector for maximum benefit of the citizenry, charged all the boards to work as team to realize the administration's policies on healthcare sector.
And inshallah, in the next 30 days, I want to get a report from the chairman and members of all these boards. I will see you personally. Together you can work assiduously and achieve the objectives of promoting health care delivery service in the state.
The governor, who highlighted the statutory roles of the three boards inaugurated, also assured them that government will provide necessary resources to ensure the timely take-off of Kashim Ibrahim University Teaching Hospital. Professor Ahmed Ahijo, on behalf of the three boards inaugurated, expressed gratitude to the state government for establishing the teaching hospital, which he believes will address the need for tertiary healthcare delivery service in the state.
We assure you, sir, we will give our best. The caliber of people that you have chosen to serve on these boards, I believe we will work, if not close, at least we'll do significant to your expectation.
The chairman said with the establishment of the state teaching hospital, the manpower gap in the health sector will be addressed. In Maiduguri, Mohammed Goni, NTA News.
Borno State Governor Professor Babagana Umar Zulum has praised Borno State Geographic Information Service (BOGIS) for its efforts in efficient land management and revenue generation across the state. The commendation was made during the inauguration of an 18-seater auditorium and a mini media studio at the BOGIS premises in Maiduguri. Pauline Kujevana has more on that.
Established in 2020 to replace the defunct Ministry of Lands and Survey, Borno State Geographical Information Service (BOGIS) was mandated to provide reliable and efficient land management and administration services, in addition to implementing sustainable land tenure practices, issuing land titles and certification, developing a comprehensive land database, and utilizing technology for effective land planning and management. During the inauguration, Governor Babagana Umar Zulum emphasized the importance of supporting BOGIS to enhance its operational efficiency, highlighting that the revenue generated by the agency has been instrumental in funding critical state projects such as road construction and drainage rehabilitation. The governor asked residents of Borno to fulfill their land-related obligations promptly to sustain the state's development efforts, assuring that the government will address all the agency's requirements and directed BOGIS to submit its needs to the Secretary to the state government for necessary action.
This administration pledges an unflinching commitment to the provision of quality and functional service delivery to our citizens. On our part, the government will give all the necessary support to ensure all the laudable goals of the project is achieved for the betterment of our people.
Executive Secretary of BOGIS, Adam Bukar Bababi, expressed gratitude to Governor Zulum for his unwavering support and made known challenges faced by the agency, including shortage of staff, inadequate technical equipment, and the need for utility vehicles to enhance the agency's capacity, clarifying that BOGIS is not limited to activities like demolition or revocation, but is focused on supporting government policies and programs. On the other hand, Chairman of BOGIS, Zanna Mahadi, among other board members, lauded Governor Zulum's leadership and Bababe's transformative efforts, particularly the establishment of the auditorium and media studio, describing it as a milestone in BOGIS history. In Maiduguri, Pauline Kujevana, NTA News.
Up next is Sports Update with Olumide Eguntola as our guide.
English Premier League side Aston Villa are keen on the services of Super Eagles and AC Milan winger Samuel Chukwueze, despite his injury status. The ex-Villarreal winger was first off the pitch during the first half of Milan's 1-1 draw against Roma late last year, due to injury that will keep him away from football for the next 5 weeks. Aston Villa are looking forward to beef up attack as they have to compete on all fronts, and the club's coach is keen on adding some focal power to his front line to have some strength in depth. In female football, Ghana CF's goal scorer Edna Imadi has expressed a desire to represent Nigeria over Spain and Morocco. The 24-year-old forward, who was born in Morocco but raised in Sevilla, Spain, has been making waves in the Spanish Women's League with her impressive goal-scoring form. Imadi's football journey began at the tender age of 6, when she started playing for boys' team in Carmona. In mixed martial arts, Nigeria's nightmare in UFC, a former welterweight champion Kamaru Usman, has sent warning signals to his opponents that he will bounce back this year, 2025. He confirmed that he is not afraid of any fighter, as he is working on his health to make sure he is fit to fight. He explained that his desire is to engage in more fights in order to improve his career and make more money to cater for his family. In tennis, world number 1 Yannick Sinner has been drawn against big-hitting Nicolas Jarry on Thursday to start his Australian Open defense, while Novak Djokovic is on a collision course to meet Carlos Alcaraz. Italy's Yannick defeated Russia's Daniil Medvedev in last year's final in Melbourne to secure his first major title. The Australian Open starts on Sunday. With sports update, Olumide Eguntola, NTA News.
Panorama today from NTA Maiduguri Network Center. From myself, Abubakar Musa, and the whole team is see you next time.
With our digital format and wide range, we can reach your customers in next to no time. We are eager to promote your business, goods and services. So, partner with us for a very rewarding business experience. For more information, please call or visit our office at NTA Headquarters, Area 11, Garki, Abuja. NTA News 24. Advertising your goods and services on the right channel gives you an edge over your competitors. NTA News 24 has all the platforms for your target audience. Digital format and wide range, we can reach your customers in next to no time. We are eager to promote your business, goods and services. So, partner with us for a very rewarding business experience. For more information, please call or visit our office at NTA Headquarters, Area 11, Garki, Abuja. NTA News 24. News and more news.
The recent visit of the Chinese minister to Nigeria marks a significant milestone in the strengthening of the long-standing diplomatic and economic ties between the two nations. As two of the largest economies in Asia and Africa, China and Nigeria share a mutual interest in expanding cooperation in various sectors, including trade, infrastructure development, technology, and investment. This visit underscores China's commitment to enhancing its presence in Africa and Nigeria's strategic importance in its broader foreign policy. Discussions were centered on deepening the trade relations, particularly through the implementation of projects under the Belt and Road Initiative, BRI, and in addition, deliberations on fostering people-to-people exchanges, enhancing cultural diplomacy, and addressing global challenges such as climate change, sustainable development, and security concerns. To this end, the visit is poised to reinforce existing agreements and set the stage for new partnerships, ensuring that both nations can take advantage of each other's growth potential and work collaboratively to achieve shared goals. This is Nigeria Today, and I'm Ikaria Clinton. Thanks for joining us. Now, joining me in the studio for the conversation is Charles Ononiju. He's a director, Center for China Studies, and he's a member of the International Advisory Committee of Beijing-based China-Africa Institute. You're welcome to
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Madam.
Also with us in the studio is Dr. Adoib Matthew Omali. He's an international affairs analyst. You're welcome to Nigeria Today.
Good evening, and thanks for having me.
Now, I'll start with you, Charles. What is the significance of the visit of this Chinese minister to Nigeria?
Well, like you know, it's been a tradition stretching over 35 years that each year China Minister of Foreign Affairs begins his international engagement with a visit to Africa. And he has done this. He was in Namibia. From Namibia, he went to Congo Republic and Chad, and now Nigeria. Nigeria and China have long-standing cooperation. They became strategic partners in 2005. Just last September, when President Tinubu paid a state visit to China and also participated at the China-African Forum on China-African Cooperation, a new understanding was reached, comprehensive strategic partnership towards building a community of shared future for the two countries, which means within the framework of this comprehensive partnership, anything can be discussed. Anything is possible. The two sides keep engaging and expanding the scope of cooperation. In tangible terms, we have had quite a lot coming in recently. Just a few days ago, the China Development Bank provided a concessional loan of over $250 million for the Kano-Kaduna railway, and the $2 billion currency swap has also been offered. So Nigeria has also had the Nigerian Trade House in China. In 2018, China created a special zone, a special mechanism to drive China-African economic trade. That is China-African Trade and Economic Expo. In Hunan, Nigeria was one of the first African countries to build a permanent trade center. I think Nigeria is focused on engaging and the opportunity of the two sides. I believe China and Africa are both opportunities to themselves, and each side engages robustly to engage and make use of this opportunity. So the visit of Foreign Minister Wang Yi is significant, is traditional. It underscores the traditional friendship between the two sides. It also offers an insight to the future, the security of the partnership between the two sides. It tells you that Africa and Nigeria is fundamental to China foreign relations, and this is reinforced by this tradition that has lasted over 3 years. So it is really significant that he came to Nigeria.
Okay. Now, to you, Dr. Adoyi, having heard from Charles here, give us, your own perception or your own perspective of the Nigeria-China relation. How would you describe it?
Nigeria and China has come a long way, just like Charles has said. Nigeria and China has had a very, very robust bilateral diplomatic relations for quite a long time. With the last year when President Bola Ahmed Tinubu visited China during the FOCAC, a lot of things were achieved by that visit. China pledged about $50 billion for the whole of Africa to intervene in a number of sectors. Don't forget that China's investment in Nigeria has reached about $2.7 billion as of 2024 in various sectors, including motorcycle assembly by the Royal Company and several other companies operating in both the textiles and other manufacturing sectors. China has also been a very important trade partner of Nigeria, especially in crude oil sales. Nigeria has been supplying them in oil and gas and several other products, and vice versa. China has been bringing a lot of their products to Nigeria. So we have had a very, very robust relationship, to the extent that China's total export to Nigeria is amounting to about $22.5 billion. That shows the quantum of trade relationship between Nigeria and China, and when you extend it to the rest of Africa, because China has a deliberate policy of engaging with Africa, and that is why last year they hosted the FOCAC. 50 African heads of states were in China, and with that policy, especially on their Silk and Belt Road Initiative, they have been able to invest hugely across the African continent. It is also important to note that they have taken the issue of African security very, very paramount. And that is why a whopping $163 million have been budgeted to enhance security within the African continent. Out of this, 1,000 troops, soldiers, are going to be trained by China, and 1,000 policemen are going to be trained. All this China is doing because it wants to have a very, very important foothold in Africa. China has been able to see Africa as the continent of the future because we have all the mineral resources, and that is why China are coming in. And let me also say that one of the major attractions for China, why China, there's a vacuum that China wants to fill, and that vacuum is with the exit of France from most of the Francophone countries now, especially against the backdrop of the coup in Burkina Faso, Mali, and so on. There's a void which China is trying to fill, and that is why China is taking the relationship with Africa very, very, very seriously. And by the time China moves in now, the West will know that yes, it is not business as usual with their former colonies in Africa, and that is why China's coming is very, very important. Like Charles said, China makes it a routine that every year they start their visit, and they have gone around, and it is very instructive that Nigeria is one of the countries. In fact, the minister is rounding up the trip in Nigeria. So I think it's a very good one, and we also have to look at relationship with China very well.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Adoyi. Now, back to you, Charles. Now, let's look at diplomatic and political relations between the two countries. So looking at this visit, do you see is strengthening, relations, bilateral relations, and also, playing a major role in these areas?
Well, like my friend said, Nigeria-China cooperation is a very important one. It's not new. The two countries established diplomatic relations in 1971, and since then it's been a very great endeavor with the two countries. In recent times, the relation has become quite tangible, delivering tangible outcomes. I've just told you that at the visit of President Tinubu in China last year in September, 19-point agreement was reached on comprehensive strategic partnership between Nigeria and China. And of course, it involves securing each of them are sensitive to the core of their national interest. Nigeria has been a clear upholder of one China principle, which unequivocally states there is only one China in the world, and Taiwan is part of China national sovereignty, sovereign expression. Nigeria is a methodical upholder of that very important principle, very foundational to China modern state. And of course, China also upholds the unity, indivisibility of Nigeria as a sovereign entity. So this is the foundation upon which their diplomatic relation has been robustly enhanced. In practical terms, quite a lot of tangible has been delivered. Nigeria got her first ever deep sea port, Lekki Deep Sea Port, under the framework of the Belt and Road International Corporation, which focused on connectivity, building bridges both in metaphorical and literal sense, building bridges of understanding as well as building bridges to drive connectivity within the continent. So China has been a partner and in all this, and Nigeria also is reaching out. Like I told you, Nigeria was among the first few African states to establish a permanent trade center in China. With President Tinubu's visit, he came back. For the first time in Nigerian history, he appointed a special directorate to oversee the strategic partnership between Nigeria and China, a special director general to oversee and align issues of China-African cooperation, its outcomes to national development plan. This is unprecedented in Nigerian diplomatic history. It shows very clearly that Abuja is taken serious Beijing as a partner, credible partner, reliable partner when it comes to development. And this relation has been built on pragmatism. No string attached. You are not, China is not saying, don't like this man to like me. Don't engage with this man to engage me. China engages in broad partnership. It does not do alliances. It does not do axis. It organizes broad partnership, open hand to the whole part of the world. And China does not think it's filling any gap. China is naturally open to partnership across the world. And by the way, China-African cooperation is not new. It's been as old as the two countries, emerging on the international scene as sovereign states. If you remember, when China built the first ever flagship railway from Zambia to Tanzania, China was still poor, poorer than most African countries. But out of understanding that the two sides have common destiny of ending colonialism, of ending colonial occupation, and focus on self-development, building economy that is both inclusive and self-reliant, China began to engage Africa robustly. So as far back as 1973, China built and delivered Africa's longest railway, the Zambia-Tanzania Railway, which is called the Railway of Freedom. And it's been a long one. If you remember, General Gowon visited China in 1974, had a meeting with the great Chairman Mao, and the framework for robust. And if you remember, during the Nigerian Civil War, China stood for the indivisibility of Nigeria as one nation. So I think it's a long way. The most important thing in recent time is become more pragmatic. It's been delivering tangible outcomes. We do hope Nigeria can build what I call strategic resilience.
Okay, I want to stop you, Charles. I know you have quite a lot to say. So that's it. You will also say something. Now, Dr. Adoyi, having heard what Charles had to say about the relationship of China and Nigeria, they've really come a long way, I must say, or we all agree on that. Now, talking about the trade relations. There have been concerns from some Nigerians that over the years we've seen the influx of substandard goods coming in from China. Now, how can the government and stakeholders ensure that Nigeria's interests remain protected in its relationship with China?
Well, I listened to Charles very well when he said that China has no interest or no motives. They are just doing it because they just want to engage with Africa. Maybe I misunderstood what he was trying to say. The fact is that, just like you have said, the trade between Nigeria and China is very unequal. It's unbalanced. Chinese imports to Nigeria is humongous. We've been importing a lot of products from China. We have been consuming a lot of their manufactured products, both textiles, machineries, telecommunications, ZTE. They are operating in Nigeria, very huge telecommunication companies, and so on. So the trade between Nigeria and China is imbalanced. So we always have a trade deficit with China. China also, though, have been giving very soft loans to us, like he talked about the railway modernization plan, even the airport modernization plan, and several other projects. Today, as we speak, about $33 billion have been invested in the brass industrial park by the Chinese. So the Chinese are doing quite a lot. But again, it is not out of it's not out of love or whatever that they are doing it. They are also benefiting a lot. If you go to many of our rural communities, Chinese companies are there. Not necessarily government companies, but Chinese companies. They are there prospecting for lithium in Nasarawa and several other places, in Zamfara and several other places. Chinese companies are there in mining and various sectors. They are there. And we have had complaints about Chinese companies maltreating or underpaying Nigerians. All these are issues. So their coming is also for their own economic benefit. I think it's a symbiotic relationship. In as much as they are pumping a lot of money to Africa, they are pumping a lot of money to Nigeria, they are assisting us towards economic development. We should also be very wary. It is not all that glitter that is good. We will not want what happened in the past, where we were colonized indirectly to resolve. So in dealing with China, we have to be very, 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 very careful and tactical. The relationship will have to be of mutual benefits to both countries. We must try as much as possible to regulate the activities of Chinese companies in the country, and also to ensure most of their companies have been given a lot of tax reliefs. Most of them are operating in export processing zone, like you mentioned, the Lekki deep ports and several Adeogun free trade zone. Most Chinese companies are there. About 2 or 3 of them are operating even in the Tinapa Cross River Park. So we should also be very, very wary. But in international economic relations, we should be very, very circumspect and ensure that whatever agreements, whatever transactions we are having, not only with China, with the rest of the world, we should take most and foremost the multiplier effect on our economy and the benefit that it's going to bring to our people.
Okay, thank you. Charles, I know you have something to say immediately. Because, but before you go ahead, I also want to, there's an issue you raised here, in terms of balance, So how can we, have a balance in between both countries? And again, what areas of collaboration can, both countries expect to further in the coming years?
Okay. Well, on this question of balance, one, I could never suggest that the Chinese are for the Christmas. Their framework is win-win. They are not. They also have the Communist Party of China. The governing party is a very responsible party that delivers value to her people. It's an accountable political party. So Chinese organize accountable governance. They don't throw resources that has no meaningful impact in generating returns. So they are not frivolous, neither are they, because the party is accountable, responsible, and there are several mechanisms through which the party is held accountable. So it can't afford to undertake Father Christmas. So what it proposes is win-win framework. I hear so much about people talking about being wary of the Chinese. I think my response is we have to build capacity, build sufficient institutional, structural capacity that enables us to get the best out of any bargain, at any table, whether with the Chinese, with the French, with the Americans, with the Russians. If you don't have capacity, if you don't have the institutional framework that responds, that engages the outcome, domesticate it and build it into your national aggregate, you will be on a merry-go-round, not just for the Chinese. So for me, the answer of being wary is build capacity, strengthen our ability to get things from our partners, to engage our partners beneficially to our purpose. They also have a purpose. They are building capacity. China is a country that delivers value. Its resilience, its competitiveness is based on value creation and value multiplication. And you cannot be creating and delivering value if you do not have capacity. So my response to Africa, to Nigeria, in respect of how do we respond to China's opportunity, because I believe the two sides are opportunity to each other. So the one who has better capacity, who has better understanding of the issues at stake, has prospect of getting more, the bigger share of the cake. So I think, in my view, we should build greater capacity, greater institutional transparency, credibility, and resilience to engage more practically, more fruitfully, and more beneficially from the opportunities of our two-side cooperation. The opportunities are mutual, but to leverage it, we must build the necessary capacity.
Now, just before we go, Dr. Adoyi, what are the long-term strategic goals, for Nigeria-China relations?
Well, there's a lot of prospects in Nigeria-China relationship. We know we need a lot of things from them, especially in the area of transfer of technology. We need China to assist us in a lot of ways, and which they are trying, especially in developing our infrastructure and also trying to industrialize. They need to go all out to help us, especially in the area of agriculture. We need to mechanize our farming system, and we have a lot to learn from China in that regard. We also need to adopt technology. China has been able to fabricate a lot of machines, equipments that we will need, especially to kickstart our small-scale agro businesses. So, especially in the area of cold rooms for preservation, preserving our food crops and so on. So there's a lot of prospects. Outside the infrastructural development they have been assisting us, we will need more of Chinese expertise in this area so that we can be able to solve the issue of food insecurity.
Thank you very much. That was Dr. Adoyi Matthew Mali, International Affairs Analyst. Thank you so much for your time and your contribution. And of course, I heard Charles Onanijo, Director Center for China Studies, and he's also a member of the International Advisory Committee of Beijing-based China-Africa Institute, CAI. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us, Madam.
And thank you for being part of the program. Don't forget, Nigeria Today airs every weekday at 7:30 p.m. on NTA News 24. You can also check out this episode and others on www.youtube.com/NTA News 24 Hub. I'm Eukaria Clinton. Goodbye.
Advertising your goods and services on the right channel gives you an edge over your competitors. NTA News 24 has all the platforms for your target audience. With our digital format and wide range, we can reach your customers in next to no time. We are eager to promote your business, goods and services. So, partner with us for a very rewarding business experience. For more information, please call or visit our office at NTA Headquarters, Area 11, Garki, Abuja. NTA News 24. News and more news. Advertising your goods and services on the right channel gives you an edge over your competitors. NTA News 24 has all the platforms for your target audience. With our digital format and wide range, we can reach your customers in next to no time. We are eager to promote your business, goods and services. So, partner with us for a very rewarding business experience. For more information, please call or visit our office at NTA Headquarters, Area 11, Garki, Abuja. NTA News 24. News and more news.
Hello and welcome to the news update at 1. I'm Vicaria Clinton. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will depart Abuja on Saturday, January 11, to participate in the 2025 edition of Abu Dhabi Sustainability Week, ADSW 2025. His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, President of the United Arab Emirates, invited President Tinubu to attend the summit, which will take place in the Emirate from January 12 to 18. A statement by Special Advisor to the President, Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, indicates that the summit will bring together global leaders to celebrate sustainable development and advance socio-economic progress. The event, the Nexus of Next, Supercharging Sustainable Progress, will enable policymakers, business and civil society leaders to explore pathways to fast-track the transformation to a sustainable economy and evolve a new era of prosperity for all. ADSW, a testament to the power of collaboration, has been held annually for over 15 years. It provides a global platform to foster multi-stakeholder cooperation in addressing global challenges and accelerating growth. It has birthed high-level agreements on strategic partnerships between governments, industry leaders, and clean energy pioneers worldwide, driving impactful alliances and advancing the sustainability agenda worldwide. At the event, President Tinubu will stress his administration's reforms, including those related to energy sufficiency, transportation, public health, and economic development. The Nigerian leader and his entourage will also meet with the Emirates leadership to discuss issues of interest affecting the two nations. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Yusuf Tugar, and other senior government officials will accompany the President. He will return to Nigeria on Thursday, January 16. In a bid to end the cycle of corruption which has hampered development in Nigeria, diplomatic efforts are being made by the federal government to initiate recovery of looted funds stashed in foreign lands. This is yielding results as the United States of America signs an agreement in Abuja to return $52.88 million illicit funds recovered from the former Petroleum Resources Minister, Dizieni Alison Madueke, and her associates. In line with the current administration's intolerance for corruption, the Ministry of Justice says the UN and international agencies on transparency will be involved in monitoring expenditure on the recovered funds.
And supporting integrity and accountability in governance. As agreed, the $50 million of the repatriated funds will be utilized through the World Bank.
And that's the news update at this hour. Join us at 3 for more. I'm your carrier, Clinton. Good afternoon.
Hello and welcome everyone. I'm Nnamdi Odipo. As Nigeria strives to achieve national food security, the unsung heroes of women farmers are taking center stage. We would explore the vital role women farmers play in feeding the nation and discover how their efforts are bringing Nigeria closer to its national food security objectives. And next, I'll bring on a cybersecurity expert to speak on tips on how to safeguard our personal finances, our phones, and yes, our bank accounts as well from malicious attacks, especially now as we begin to make our personal and family budgets for the year 2025. It is a fact that in today's digital age, cyber attacks are lurking around every corner, threatening to compromise